Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome. Welcome, Jessica. Hello,
Hi.
Darcy. How are we? How's your week been?
There. Oh, I don't know. Are you asking me?
Oh, I'm asking both of you. Who wants to
Oh,
go first? Who wants to go first?
Me just busy.
Busy. Well, it's a new moon today, Jessica. So let's reframe it from busy to what are we going to create for this new moon, this new lunar cycle?
Let's see, unbusyness and a healthy baby.
I'm into that.
All right.
Let's have that. Let's bring that in. You're right. Let's cultivate that for the month. Let's sow those
Yes.
seeds. Beautiful. Love it. Darcy, what are you cultivating for this new moon? What are you bringing in for the moon?
Trying to bring this family into a cohesive energy right now. 'Cause
Beautiful.
everyone's all over the place, and it's just kind of, I mean, my daughter's here, so that's good. But I guess Steven's energy is way up here. My daughter is like, just like chill out. And so I'm kind of somewhere in the middle, and I see both of them, and I'm just like, all right, let's kind of calibrate this. So I'm just trying to get that to happen. So
Beautiful. It's a fine balance, You're like
yeah,
the mediator. So this new moon could be all about finding balance for you, Darcy.
yeah, yeah,
Love
for
that.
sure.
I'm not sure. Do you want to say hello? Unmute yourself
Yes.
and your video. Oh, there we
Yeah.
go. Hello, my beauty.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you doing?
Well, darling, where are you
No.
joining us from?
I'm joining from Bay Area, California, United States. I know
Beautiful.
everybody else is from different parts as well. I know from last time there was somebody from Texas, so I know one or two people are from United States. Yeah.
Well,
Good to see you. Good to see
oh,
you
it's
all.
a pleasure to see you, darling. So we're on the new moon in Gemini. So what are you cultivating for the new moon?
Okay, so I'm going for my mom is here in town
Ah,
for a
beautiful.
month, so I took a break and I had a great time. In fact, I ate what I want. I didn't go overboard, but I still ate what I want. I didn't strictly follow the diet. And then now I'm planning to go for my second round of IVF sooner. So I think that's my goal, to go for my IVF and see what's there for me.
Well, that's great. Well, this will give you a lovely foundation, a nice little tidy up. And food is always the foundation. Whenever I'm working,
Right.
all of my patients, as you all know, that food is the thing that you can control. So welcome, darling. It's so nice to have you on board. Jamie, you going to say hello to us? Welcome, sweetheart. Renata, welcome. Do you want to say hello, Jamie? Do you want to unmute? Do you want to say a quick hello? Let me see your video.
Hi, I'll turn my camera on shortly. I'm just finishing up something. Sorry, the beeping is just the air fryer.
No problem.
I
All
just
right.
had to finish cooking
We'll talk
for
towards the end.
tomorrow.
Do you want to say a quick hello, darling? Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, sweetheart. How are you?
Good, good. Thanks. How are you?
Well, I'm well, and we're on the new moon, so I always like to, the lunar cycle. We're often very aligned to it. So I was just asking everybody, new moon, new you. What are you bringing in for this new lunar cycle? What are you
That's
cultivating?
that's a loaded question. Um, yeah, but I think still bringing in a calm mind, calm spirit, and more breathing and sleeping on time. Still working all those.
Roger that. I think they're great things to work on, darling. Welcome. Always a pleasure to have you here. I'll make a start, ladies. So this talk is going to be on the power of nutrition and how to boost your fertility with your nutrition. I recommend all women, even if you're not planning to conceive for a year or more, that you follow an optimal fertility diet. Not only does it improve the likelihood of conception, but it improves your overall health for you and the baby during pregnancy and beyond. So while fertility is complex and every woman has their own journey, and they do, and we customize that based on your pattern, right, from a Chinese medicine perspective, but the foods and nutrients are there designed to nourish your ovaries and your uterus, support your immunity, reduce inflammation, and rebalance your hormones, all factors that can impact fertility, conception, and prenatal health. So I've worked with women that have been trying to get pregnant for years, and sometimes, you know, it was just tailorizing the diet and getting the nutrition right that actually helped them conceive. I know that sounds really basic and simple, but because it's such a big pillar, it's a massive foundation, and I've seen it happen over and over again. So that's why I always really stress on getting your diet right, getting your nutrition right. So let's look at the nutritional influences on fertility. We've got plenty of those. So there's a wealth of data. I'm going to just go into a little bit of data to, look at the powerful way that, this data can help us, and the research that's around that can show how it has a profound impact on, on your fertility. So a major study that I looked at in Australia, New Zealand, and the UK, this was a study of 39% of 5,598 first-time mothers, and the study found that those who generally avoided fast food in their diets conceived within 1 month of when they began having unprotected sex, while the other women that continued to include the fast food hadn't conceived within 12 months. So it's a big comparison, isn't it? So, there's a great study. Another research from the Harvard School of Public Health monitored the fat consumption of 147 women, and they were undergoing IVF treatment, and they discovered that those who ate the highest amounts of monosaturated fat were 3.4 times more likely to have a child after IVF. And they concluded that avocados contain the best kind of monosaturated fat, while saturated fat was found to decrease the number of good quality eggs. And we've got to look at the nutritional status. The nutritional status, it matters. So even if we're looking at something as simple as low ascorbic acid, this is your vitamin C. It's associated with your reduced ovarian function and reduced progesterone levels. So there's a study that I was looking at, and they found that when women were supplementing with ascorbic acid, their progesterone levels rose. So I'm often talking to my patients in the luteal phase what vitamin C rich foods they can incorporate in the luteal phase to help the progesterone. We've got, another study I saw was women with low B12 and low folate. There was an increased risk of miscarriage, as do women that have hypothyroidism and PCOS. They're all influenced by the nutritional status, okay? Vitamin E levels, low levels, are connected with a risk of anovulation. I also see that low vitamin E levels, there tends to be an issue with the lining. So, if you are doing IVF and you have issues with a thin endometrial lining, you might want to supplement vitamin E. Low vitamin B6 has been found in women with miscarriage and prenatal nausea and vomiting. So low B6. So you can see why we want that in your preconception multivitamin, all right? Because we don't want to go through that nausea and that, morning sickness. So, addressing that early, and this is why it's key to get your diet right beforehand. Vitamin D plays a role in improving IVF outcomes and in the production of AMH. So you're always wanting to check your vitamin D levels. So this is a marker that I'm always looking at when I'm looking at your labs. All right, we want to make sure that your vitamin D is up around 70 to 165. I mean, I saw a patient just today and it was 24, and she's like, oh, this is quite low. So we're looking at supplementing that 10,000 IU. And then, once we get it up around the 70, then we can reduce it back down to maybe 2,000 to 4,000 IU. Then if we look at homocysteine levels, they're associated with low folate levels, low luteal phase progesterone, and a 33% increase in the likelihood of an ovulation. All right, so we want to make sure that you've got higher levels of folate, all right? And then we've got low selenium. Selenium supplementation has shown some positive outcomes in improving thyroid function and reducing the risk of miscarriage, particularly if you've got Hashimoto's thyroiditis. So we want to, you know, look at your selenium levels. It helps lower the TPO antibodies, all right, your thyroid peroxidase antibodies. So yeah, low selenium. We want to look at that nutritional status of what's showing up in your bloods. But the reality is, if we look at it, you know, most women in the US, and this goes for Australia and other countries, they're chronically low in a lot of these nutrients. You know, I'm seeing this across the board. You know, high homocysteine, low vitamin E, low vitamin B6, low folate, B12, low vitamin C. So we want to check these on your bloods when you're doing your bloods, because we want to go into your pregnancy not having morning sickness, you know, addressing if there's iron deficiency or low ferritin. We want to make sure, because I'm seeing a lot of this low protein, low B6, low vitamin E, low vitamin D, folate. There are a lot of issues with conversion of that. So you want to make sure you're getting your methylfolate. But I'm also seeing a lot of iron deficiency, iodine deficiency, magnesium deficiency. So, you know, we want to address this first and foremost. And diet's really everything. I don't want you to just think supplements, by the way, because I think when I start talking about these nutritional status matters, and most people just think, all right, I'm going to take this, or I'm just going to get this supplement. But I really want you to think about your diet, because what we do or what we don't eat really influences everything. It influences your menstrual cycle regularity. It influences your ovulation, your egg quality, the health of your uterine lining, your immune system, your gut and your vaginal microbiome. And all of these influence the fertility. So we want to get the best foods for fertility, because they're going to provide your cells, your endocrine system, all the things that it needs to support conception and pregnancy. We also need the best foods because it's the, you know, it's the building blocks for your hormones. It helps rebalance the hormones. It helps, you know, improve your insulin resistance. And, you know, we also see there's so many hidden causes of inflammation, ovarian dysfunction, PCOS. So we want to look at the best foods to do that and address that. So in my clinic, and anyone that works with me, they all know it's that the fertility diet is the foundation for all of my treatments. Even when I'm optimizing it and making it individualized, because sometimes, you know, if you've got PCOS or endometriosis, you know, or an ovulation, I'm going to, you know, individualize it. But, you know, the foundation for the fertility, and it's the core nutritional pathway. It's the food. All right. So I explain to all my patients, and you know, most women usually become pregnant when they do adopt, you know, a nutritional plan. And if we look at it, you know, in the US, 50% of pregnancies in the US are unplanned. Isn't that interesting? And so that means that they usually become pregnant without optimizing their nutrition. So today, this is where you've got the advantage. And already, if you've started your preconception, you've worked with me. But if you've started on this phase, you know, give yourself time. All right, you want to give yourself 6 to 12 months of creating this, rinse and repeat. All right, sometimes I say 12 to 24 months. Sometimes it can take up to 2 years. This is what I'm seeing when you do things naturally. All right, but I'm going to show you the foods that you can add to your diet or emphasize if you're already paying attention to what you're eating healthily, not just in getting pregnant, but staying pregnant, making a difference, having a healthy pregnancy, and optimizing. It's about your baby's health, because what are we passing on? Is there going to be a depletion? You know, often I'm seeing, you know, such a rise in autism, and a lot of that comes from an iodine deficiency. So, you know, we need to look at what is our nutritional status. So let's look at what is an optimal fertility diet, and we want to look at the nutritional principles from, you know, let's look at the healthiest traditional diet in the world, the Mediterranean style of eating. And I'm saying Mediterranean style, right? Because I don't like to just say I don't want to just pigeonhole this diet is the optimal. It's a Mediterranean style because you'll see that most health experts, and it doesn't matter if it's in the fertility niche, even with cardiovascular disease, any doctor that you talk to will agree that the Mediterranean style of eating is the best for your health. And remember, when you're healthy, your natural state is fertility. You're naturally fertile when you're healthy. So what are the components of the Mediterranean style of eating? Well, it's whole fresh foods, it's whole fresh grains, plenty of fruits and vegetables, up to 8 servings, 7 to 9 maybe, but we're saying 7+ servings daily. Good quality protein, especially fish, fish and seafood, lean meats, turkey, chicken, vegan sauces, eggs. And when I'm talking vegan sauces, like your legumes, these are your beans, your lentils, and your chickpeas. We've got the healthy oils and fats, all right, as I mentioned above, the avocados, olive oil, nuts and seeds, plenty of those, ample nuts, ample seeds, almonds, walnuts, flax seeds, chia seeds. These are all in. Herbs and spices. You'll often see this: basil, oregano, rosemary, garlic. These are simple things that you can just add in that are going to work for your fertility. And slow burning carbs in moderation. So we're going to just break it all down. I'll go through each one of these and just here's exactly what to eat and what to skip and to optimize your fertility and pregnancy health once you conceive. So this is something that you continue to eat like this when you're pregnant, okay? So organic veggies and fruits. So when it comes to food, this is the most exciting thing. Vegetables are a category you can indulge without restraint. Without restraint. Don't you love that? You just cannot hold back. I just full throttle on all your organic veggies and fruits. So have as much as you like. But as I said, we want 8+ servings. We want that of vegetables, a big variety of color. Think a rainbow of color. What have you seen in the rainbow on your plate? And then we want about 2 to 3 servings of fruit daily. If we're looking at your protein, we want to opt for organic where possible, but look at your labels. Is it free of antibiotics, growth hormones, preservatives, and additives? We just want to make sure, go to your farmers markets. You can limit your red meat servings to 1 to 2 times a week and avoid, it's particularly important to avoid the sausage meats, the hot dogs, the canned chickens, and most sandwich meat, because they contain lots of preservatives. It's the preservatives, the additives, the nitrates, and all those inferior meat products which are harmful for your fertility. And additionally, we want to just make sure that the meat is cooked. You don't want undercooked meat because it can harm. It harbors the harmful bacteria. All right, so fatty fish. This is big with the Mediterranean style of eating, and it's great. It can help you get pregnant. It's going to support your pregnancy, and it's also going to support if you've got PCOS or endometriosis, or even if you've got anovulatory cycles. So period problems. Fatty fish. Overall, it just improves your gynecological health and your fertility. The thing with the fish, the main thing is to keep it to low mercury forms and no more than about 12 ounces of weekly recommended varieties. So this is salmon, trout, cod, what else? Sole, halibut, sardines, all those fatty things, herring, mackerel, shrimp. And then if you look at your fish, we want the larger fish, the older fish, they tend to have more mercury than the younger fish. So in the ocean, if we're looking at it, sharks and swordfish, they have the most mercury, all right? In the lakes and rivers, it's the bass. The bass have the highest levels of mercury. So that's just something to keep in mind. Eggs are in, all right? It's a no wonder eggs are a symbol of fertility. They're beautiful, aren't they? I just love them. I have at least 2 eggs every single day, and so does my husband. We can't live without our eggs, all right? Eggs provide the choline, all right? It's essential for the baby's brain development, and eggs are especially a rich source. So there's absolutely zero connection between eggs and heart disease. You'll often see a lot of people just saying, oh God, eggs, can't have eggs for heart disease. No, that's all been proven. This is absolutely not true. So you can have at least 2 a day. And if you don't eat your eggs, they're also found, so choline is also found in beef liver. It's found in chicken, particularly the breast meat. It's also found in salmon and cod, cruciferous veggies. It's also found in your quinoa and beans if you are a vegan. All right, so I want to just make sure that you are getting essential amounts of choline for trying to conceive and for your pregnancy, not just for you, but for your baby. Enjoy avocados. You know, I have half an avocado every single day. It is just amazing, right? If we look at it, another study, this is another study I looked at, 2% of your total daily calories in trans fats increases the infertility risk by up to 70%. So that means it's like if you're having even just one small donut or a medium serving of French fast food fries daily, your increase of infertility goes up 70%. So it's just saying, let's pull out the fast foods. I know sometimes when we are, if you've got morning sickness, sometimes I'll allow you to have some hot chips because women are really having some crazy cravings. But that's the exception where I kind of give you a bit more flexibility. All right. But the reality is, let's get rid of fast food. All right. We want the good fats. So enjoy your avocados, healthy fats, olive oils, coconut oils. There's so many amazing fats. It's also in your nuts and seeds. All right. And, another study I looked at, the same researchers that did this study, they also found that women undergoing IVF who ate the highest amounts of monosaturated fats, remember this is in your avocados, nuts and seeds and olive oil, they were 3.4 times more likely to have a child after IVF compared to the women who ate the saturated fats. So, avocados contain the best monosaturated fat for fertility. So it's a great regular addition to add to your diet if you enjoy them. Folate. I'm always talking about this to my patients. We need it for the DNA synthesis. We need it for cell division, for equality, for your neural tube development and neural tube defects. Then we need it for reducing homocysteine levels and hormone regulation. For men, for sperm production, we need it. We need it for oxidative stress and their sperm quality. So folate, if we look at where it's found in food, I love it in, if you can handle your beef and your duck liver, amazing. If not, mung beans, chickpeas, all of these things have high levels of folate. It's also found in leeks and in your red bell peppers or your red capsicums in Australia, asparagus and spinach, collard greens, lima beans, kidney beans, and the egg yolk. So again, I'm coming back to eggs. But, we need lots of folate, all right, for your fertility. So folate is really important. We want liver-friendly foods because if you think of your liver, it does so much for us. The liver supports the bile production. It also detoxifies all your hormones and it dumps them in the bile for elimination. So what are your liver-friendly foods? All your cruciferous vegetables, what are they? Broccoli, cauliflower, cabbage, bok choy, Brussels sprouts, I just have them for breakfast, collard greens, kale, arugula. All right, these are liver-friendly foods. Try and have them. This is part of all those lovely fruit and veggies, those 8+ servings a day. Lots of alliums. These are liver-friendly. These are your onion family, onions, leeks, shallots, fennel, garlic. All right. Then we've got sulfur-rich foods. This is, again, your cruciferous vegetables and your alliums. All right, they are your sulfur-rich foods. Glutathione-rich foods. It's the body's master antioxidant. All right, it really neutralizes the harmful estrogen quinone. So we want glutathione-rich foods. It's found in avocados. It's found in asparagus, okra, spinach, broccoli, cantaloupe, tomatoes, carrots. All right, glutathione, it's just such an important compound. Now, some of my patients, they are doing this sublingually. Some of them are taking it. Some are even taking NAC, N-acetylcysteine, because it converts to glutathione. All right, so you can look at it from a supplement point of view. And then lastly, if we're looking at another liver-friendly food, all your bitter greens. I love radishes because they're, wet and juicy, a nice snack that you can have with some hummus. Artichokes, and all the leafy greens are in for the liver. All right, so spinach, kale, rainbow chard, silver beet, bok choy, arugula. All right, we call it rocket in Australia, and it's, you know, they're rich sources of folate as well. So you see, there's a lot of crossover, right? A lot of crossover, but that's how food works, all right? Because it just, there's so much diversity with all the minerals and elements and nutritional status that they have. We want whole organic grains. All right, they are vital for your hormone production and regulation. This is all your rice, brown rice, particularly quinoa, oats. All right, and they're essential with the B vitamins. We want to stabilize the blood sugar, all right, because this is what's going to promote the balance. And in Chinese medicine, whole grains are nourishing of the stomach and spleen. And then if the stomach and spleen's working well, it then supports the functioning of your liver and kidney, which in turn regulates your hormonal balance and maintains your reproductive health. We want to pass on the gluten, let the gluten go. All right. Celiac disease and possibly even non-celiac gluten intolerance can affect fertility. All right. So I just get rid of it. It increases the miscarriage risks, and it's associated with so many additional pregnancy complications. It plays a role in endometriosis, leaky gut, Hashimoto's, all of which can impact your fertility and pregnancy. So it's just go gluten-free, guys. Not only until you conceive, this is important, at least until you're 1 year postpartum. Why? Because gluten can also affect your thyroid postpartum, and it can contribute to issues with milk production and contribute to postpartum anxiety and depression. So pass on the gluten, pass on the gluten, pass on the gluten. Yes, we want to avoid the dairy. Maybe a little bit if you really like it. It just throws, you know, there's just so many hormones that are attached with a lot of dairy things. So, you know, if you're having it, it's just maybe a slither. I call it a slither. All right. It can be, all right, occasional feta, occasional halloumi manchego, occasional Parmigiano Reggiano. Go for the harder cheeses, the pecorino, all right, or even if it's the goat's cheese, but no more than maybe once or twice a week, all right, tops, and it's a slither. We're just getting a little taste, all right. Instead, you know what I recommend, ladies? I recommend that you go for more of your tahini and lentils, garbanzo beans, leafy greens, sardines, all these other, you know, these are high in calcium, and you can get them. You know, you look at, and like go and look at people in the zoo or go on safari. You'll see these amazing animals. They're not suckling on dairy and milk, right? They are using the nutritional foundation of food, and they're growing huge, like elephants and giraffes. They're massive. Okay, so go for the alternate calcium sources if you can. Avoid the caffeine. It's crucial to remove caffeine from your diet. Caffeine not only has a negative impact on your fertility, but it increases the risk of miscarriage. It raises your blood pressure. It even disrupts that stress-free state required that we need for conception. Even the decaf, all right? The decaf contains sometimes small amounts of caffeine, and it's the decaffeination process. It's the harsh chemicals that they actually have to use to get out the caffeine. So just avoid caffeine and decaf. I give my patients all these different alternatives: Ticino, Rasa coffee made from ashwagandha, and all your beautiful mushrooms. There is chicory. We have got, if you like tea, you know, rooibos tea. There's so many things we can do. Turmeric lattes. Plenty of things. Dandelion tea. I really love dandelion. I'm a big fan of that. So yeah, caffeine is just avoid it because it's going to mess with your hormones. We just want to let it go. Blood sugar counts. It really does. So we want the blood sugar balance. So, you know, if we're looking at, you know, if we want to eat for blood sugar balance, when you're looking at your plate, it's important that you just include your macros: protein, carbs, fats. We're on the plate. Have a look at your plate. Go, right, where's my protein source? What is it? Is it legumes? Is it beans? Is it lean meat? Is it some fish, poultry? What is it? You know, there's the protein source. Analyze, you know, it's a little check-in. Where's the good quality fat? Okay, there's my half an avocado. There's some olive oil, ghee, could be, and then look at where's the veg? Where's the veg? Because it's got full of carbohydrates, or it could be a small amount of grain. But you just look at your plate and you compartmentalize it. Am I eating right for my fertility? And then I'm going to balance my blood sugar. And this is important because it reduces inflammation. It will reverse insulin resistance, especially if you've got PCOS, all right? It's going to support the fertility. It's also important that you just don't let yourself go hangry. Hangry. My husband gets hangry. So don't skip meals and let yourself get hangry. Okay, we want to be eating every 3 to 4 hours. And we want to avoid all the sugary foods and the empty carbs like cookies and cake, even though they look nice and they taste good, but there's just no nutritional value for your fertility, all right? It's just going to spike everything, you know? White flour pastries, they just jack up your blood sugar, and after which it will just drop, and then you're on the roller coaster. And it's once you're on the roller coaster, it's really hard to get off the roller coaster, all right? Coming back into getting your blood sugar balance, you can start reverse engineering now. Start looking at your plate. Don't get hangry. Don't skip meals. Simple, isn't it? More water. All right, cheers to that. Drinking enough water will improve the quality and quantity of your cervical mucus. It's going to reduce inflammation. It's important for all your cellular health. It also prevents depression, headaches, fatigue, and makes your brain sharper. So we want about 6 to 8 cups of water a day. Now, when people see a big glass like this, they often will chug-a-lug-a-lug and they are drinking too fast. We want to slow it down. It's water synthesis. So we want a thimble. So we want to take a mouthful, and then, we want to just sip, even if you're doing a little timer every half an hour, drink a thimble or a third of a cup. All right. We want to, really focus on your hydration, because a lot of my patients are severely dehydrated, and it's also good for your, your sperm and your sperm quality. We need it for motility and morphology. All right, we need it because a lot of men have this issue with their morphology and their motility, and we need lots of water for this. So soft drinks, they pose a specific fertility health risk. According to the Harvard Nurses Health Study, women who consume 2 or more sodas a day were up to 50% more likely to experience ovulatory infertility than women who drink less than 1 soda a week. So soft drinks and soft food, it just needs to go. Same with alcohol. Like, I know it's a nice way to unwind. I'm guilty. I am guilty as charged. And it's been something that I've been working on this year, is to reduce and abstinence of alcohol, because it's not something I recommend while you're trying to conceive or going through perimenopause or menopause. To your body, alcohol, it's a toxin. Now, it's going to disrupt nutrient absorption. It's going to weaken the immune system. It's going to create more work for your liver. So ask your liver, it'll tell you, no, thank you. Alcohol is a toxin. Just ask your liver. We've got to check in with our liver. We want to talk to our livers more. So even studies have shown that 1 alcoholic drink per week can significantly reduce a couple's chances of conceiving. And with men, even moderate drinking, 1 to 2 drinks a day, can reduce the testosterone and the sperm count, as well as raise the number of abnormal sperm. So that's your morphology. All right. So, just cut it out, let it go. Reframe is a beautiful app that you can use. I think it's great. I've had a look at it, and I've been using this with my patients that are having difficulty with letting the alcohol go. So Reframe, jump on it. It's a brilliant app. Cutting boards. Let's talk about the cutting boards. This is a study showed last year, if you're using plastic cutting boards, you're ingesting up to 50 grams of microplastics a year. So that's about 12 credit cards worth of plastic per year. Now, they're often advertised. I was guilty of this. I've got rid of all my plastic cutting boards, and I've got 2 wooden cutting boards, one that I use for meat, all right, and one that I use for vegetables, all right. And because a lot of these we're being advertised, we're being poisoned, ladies. we are poison. Our solution to pollution, let's get back to the wooden cutting boards, all right? Because what they're advertised, these plastic cutting boards, they're often advertised as antimicrobial, and you can just throw them in the dishwasher. But the thing is that they're covered with this thing called microban, all right? It's a solution of antimicrobials, and they contain endocrine disruptors. This is something new, all right? So this is my new thing for patients. Get off the plastic cutting boards. In with the wood, out with the plastic. And then we want to bump up the nutrients. So let's just look at, you know, what supplements do I recommend? And I really try to start with the basics. So start taking your PreConception multivitamin. This is really, you know, we see the studies are showing that they, you know, women have healthier pregnancies, lower rates of preterm birth, birth defects, and stillbirth. So we want to make sure that you are getting your PreConception multi, and make sure that you've got it with methylfolate. This is your activated folate. We want to assume that, you know, because a lot of, most 50% of the population are carrying the MTHFR gene, and we need that gene for methylation. So I just assume now all my patients have the MTHFR gene, and we just make sure that you get your PreConception multivitamin with activated folate. So it's often written as methylfolate. We want about 400 to 800 micrograms of methylfolate daily. Then, you know, all the things that I've mentioned earlier, iron and B6, you know, all of these things are usually in your PreConception multi. Sometimes I will do iodine patch testing to see if there is an issue with absorption of iodine. Okay, we need it for healthy thyroid function. We need it for healthy menstrual cycles. You know, if there's fibroids, if there's infertility, miscarriages. All right, so iodine is really crucial. It's found a lot in your sea vegetables, so you can start utilizing that. Wakame, arame, you know, dulse is my favorite. I use dulse flakes on my food. So start incorporating it. If you're having some Japanese, get a seaweed salad. So we start to incorporate it in the food. All right, as I mentioned, the choline, try and, you know, see if you can, dose that at about 400 milligrams a day. Primary sources aside from your eggs is in the beef and calf liver. But, you know, we need it for memory, for focus, for attention. Zinc's another important fertility nutrient. We want to make sure that you're getting about 15 to 45 milligrams of zinc daily. And then I look at omega-3s, your omega-3 fatty acids. They play an essential role in conception and the formation and development of your eggs and embryo. We really need it for the baby's brain and neurological development. But it's also, you know, we need it for labor. We need it for, you know, it prevents preterm labor. So, you know, it's going to also help you for inflammation, immunity, cognition, okay? The baby brain that we tend to get. Vitamin D is another thing that I will always prescribe in a supplement. You know, I liquid dose this. I love this. It can reduce insulin resistance in women with PCOS, but it also is great for treating fibroids, endometriosis, but it plays a strong role in our sex hormone production. So that's why vitamin D, make sure you get that tested, see it in your blood serum. You can see, and we want to know, we want to make sure that your levels are up, all right, for your egg quality. So it's also improves your IVF outcomes. As I mentioned, we want about 4,000 to 5,000 IU daily. Sometimes I'll super dose it to 10,000. The maximum dose is 50,000. Like if someone's got COVID and I'm working with them, or, you know, they've got really respiratory compromised, I will do 20,000 IU of vitamin D daily. But we want to get up above 70 nanograms per milliliter. So 70 to 165, as I mentioned earlier when I started this talk. Probiotics are important. Go for food where possible: sauerkraut, kimchi, kefir, you know, soy-free miso, beet kvass. But we can supplement. Taking a probiotic supplement with a broad spectrum of lactobacillus species may provide you with fertility advantage, but we also like to use the Lactobacillus rhamnosus. This is the one in pregnancy, and it can help prevent urinary tract infections, gestational diabetes, preeclampsia, as well as prenatal and postnatal anxiety and depression. So a probiotic, if you've got issues going on with your gut, and if you've got, you know, recurrent UTIs, then I suggest that you take a daily probiotic. You can take it once or twice a day, with or without food, just with not hot drinks, because it's going to denature that. Lastly, a CoQ10. This is often in your preconception multivitamin, but you want CoQ10. It's an important antioxidant that helps improve egg quality, helps protect sperm cells from damage, and it just plays a role in the sperm motility and sperm cell energy. It acts like a nutrient for the mitochondria. So basically, I'm just coming to the conclusion now. So start with the diet. There's a 90% chance that most of you will conceive by following the diet, optimizing your fertility by just doing the diet, all right? But, you know, I invite you to try it, give it a go. And when you have a little one, as a result, please always remember to send me a photo. I always like to know and like to see the progress shots. So thank you. Thank you for joining me. Thank you all. I'm going to open up some questions now. Renata.
Hi, Dr. Fiona. So, yes, Greg is here with me. And as you know, that we just got a part of his test. And I don't know, what are some insights? We heard about the alcohol, but other ones that help with his Greg's what was it? Motility, right? Motility.
Yeah. Okay. So what supplements are you taking, Greg? So we can just share with the group so you can they can get an understanding of what you're taking thus far, and we'll see how we can optimize.
So I'm taking a CoQ10 like 3 times a day. Multiple vitamin C, vitamin D, magnesium.
Oops. Sorry.
Oh,
We got a little bubble, so my battery's low.
Okay, that's all right. So what we could add is maybe some selenium. All right, it helps protect the sperm from free radical damage. Often when there's motility issues, I will make sure that we've got the right amount of selenium, usually around 200 micrograms up to 400.
okay.
Just see if it's in any of your supplements, but I usually will then just superdose that, you know, maybe even as a separate thing. Yeah, so you've got, yeah, that would be the only real addition. Sometimes I'll add N-acetylcysteine, NAC, right? Because it works on improving the glutathione, but it improves the motility, the volume and viscosity of sperm. So just from that, 2 little simple add-ons, selenium and N-acetylcysteine.
Thank you.
Now, Greg is taking the glutathione spray.
Okay.
Should he take that along with NAC?
Okay, what dose is that, the glutathione?
Oh, it's about, we're pulling it up, but it's about 4 sprays, and we rub it on our stomachs.
Okay,
You
well
know.
then, yeah, then you won't need to do the N-acetylcysteine. So just add some selenium, high dose selenium.
Okay.
Yeah.
And one more thing, can you overdose on selenium?
And yeah, you don't want more than 400 micrograms daily. So that's
Okay.
just check into your supplements. Just make sure whatever he's got, whatever you supplement, you know, you may only need 200 micrograms.
Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome, darling. Darcy, hello.
Yeah. So, okay, I have a couple of questions. First of all, you didn't mention this, but I know that you're really big on soups and making, you know, putting all your vegetables in those soups. But one of my questions that is just kind of in my head a lot is when I'm in my luteal phase and you know, I know I shouldn't be eating celery, but celery is part of the recipe with my soup. So should I just eliminate
No,
the
in a
celery?
soup. So this is a great question, Darcy. I love this question because celery, the thermal nature of celery is cold, but when you put it in a soup, it becomes, when you cook something, it becomes warm. So you can have your celery and enjoy it in your soup.
Even during the luteal phase, right?
During the luteal phase, absolutely.
Okay.
Celery's in. If it's in a soup and it's cooked in your soup, it's in.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I also have another question that's kind of been on my head a lot. Of course, I don't know if this has anything to do with it, but Stephen has like a titanium device installed in his back from when he had surgery like nearly 10 years ago. And
Mhm.
so I don't know what to say about that. He's kind of scared of taking the zeolite that you had mentioned a few weeks back
Yeah.
because it's going to remove those heavy metals. So what do you suggest
Well,
in
normally
regards
it's
to
contained,
that?
you know, because the titanium devices are contained. What it's going to eliminate is whether if it's leaching into anything else. So, you know, that's why the zeolites are great, because if it's impacting his gut, or, you know, if it's leached out of the device, you know, or the implant, then, you know, that's why you can take it alongside. You tell him not to fear it. It's actually going to protect the rest of his organs that are functioning well. And that's what we want, especially when you've got implants.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, all right. Pretty cool.
Beautiful. Jamie, do you have a question for me?
Oh, yeah, sure. What is, I'm not sure how you say it, but what is CoQ10? What is that?
So enzyme Q10. So it's a nutrient. It's found in a lot of foods, okay? But CoQ10, it's a supplement that we use for the mitochondria, cell division, oxidative stress. You'll see it's often in your preconception multi, and it's just something that we will often use. It's going to help improve the quality of your eggs, protect the sperm, and so, you know, it's just something that I usually separate, right? So, because in your preconception multi, the dose is quite small. So we want about 600 milligrams of your CoQ10 daily. And this goes for you and your partner,
Okay.
egg quality and sperm quality.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you also say like no dairy? I was kind of confused. Did you say no dairy or certain kinds of dairy?
You know, this is the thing. I say no dairy, but we live in a world where, you know, I don't want you to feel like it's so restricted. So, you know, I have some of my patients that really do love cheese. So I'm like, okay, well, once a week, we need a little bit of Zorba. You can't be super, super restricted, because I am non-negotiable on the alcohol. I am non-negotiable on the caffeine. All right. So with the dairy, the main thing is that there's the added hormones. So, you know, go for the harder cheeses, as I mentioned, the Parmigiano Reggiano, Pecorino. All right, go for the things. And if you are doing the soft goat cheese, just do it once a week. Just do it once a week and have a little bit. You know, if you're wanting a little bit
No
on
milk either?
no
What
milk.
about milk?
No,
No
no,
milk. Okay.
no, no. So I get all my patients onto a plant-based milk, whether it's almond. You know, I personally have a combination of almond and coconut milk. All right. I have other patients that like macadamia, others that like rice milk, hemp milk. It's just the only one that we don't do, the two main milks we don't, is dairy,
Soy.
cream milk, and soy milk, because it's just
Okay.
too much soy is going to throw out your estrogen levels, all right, because it's super dense. So yeah, dairy and soy milk are two milks that we don't recommend for fertility, because we're optimizing your hormonal balance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, give the coconut and almond a go. I find it's a nice blend of both.
I don't like coconut. I think I tried that milk. I don't really like it. Almond milk's okay, but the coconut, not a fan.
You've got to find what you love. That's the secret in this journey. We've got to find what you do love doing, and then rinse and repeat. All right. So, and if you don't
Okay.
know what you're doing, then you just talk to me in these live streams, and we can work out what you do like and try something until you find what you love. Because I don't want you to be doing something and then going, ooh, because that's what you're saying to your embryos. Ooh. We want to be saying yes, yes, happy, joy. You know, you need to be in a good state when you're trying to conceive. Your mindset, how you feel is everything. It's about your safety and happiness first. Thank you, Jamie. Are there any other questions? Would anyone like to ask?
Barry's got
Faria,
his hand raised.
go ahead, Faria. Can you turn your camera on? And
Hello, I am outside walking, getting my evening walks done.
beautiful day, Faria. Looks amazing.
Hi. So I want to know like the difference between true Niagen and NMN.
Yeah.
So what, like, in which condition people should take NMN and then True Niagen? Because currently I'm taking True Niagen, so I want to understand the difference between these two. And
Are you taking
for
this?
patient like,
Are you taking this for your egg quality?
yes, because I heard True Niagen is good for mitochondrial development,
That's right.
egg quality, right?
Yes.
But I have also heard people taking NMN. So I
Yes.
don't know what's the difference between these and which one will be better.
Yes. Well, it just depends. How long have you been taking it?
It's been like 3 months almost.
Yeah. So either one, normally you'll have both of them together. And we've seen this is an early research study that we're seeing that they're seeing it in mice and rats that the egg quality is changing back to a 30-year-old. So the studies are still inconclusive about the results in humans. So you're still under observation which one is best and which one would I recommend. So the jury's not out on that. Why and for which one, I guess, is the answer, the true answer.
Yeah, like, oh yeah, like which one? So we don't know like which one is better, right?
Yeah, we don't know which one is better. Both are good. Both seem to have an impact on the mitochondria. It's all about that cellular health. Okay, so I think trying one or the other, maybe try one and then try the other, or sometimes get them combined together, and we'll see the outcomes. But the studies, it's still in its infancy here. It's a little bit like plasma, ovarian rejuvenation that we're seeing with the ovaries, but these are new things to try, and highly recommend them. We're just seeing good results studies so far. But I don't have enough, I guess the answer is I don't have enough statistical data to say which one is better than the other and for what reason.
Okay. But it looks like both of them are good. So like we can take any one of them and see.
Absolutely. Indeed.
Okay. The other question I have is how to increase progesterone level.
Yes. Well, like I've mentioned in the talk, vitamin C is going to increase your progesterone. So vitamin C rich foods, magnesium, vitamin B6. And we want to look at all the food sources that go along with that, sulfur rich foods. So what I can do is I can drop you some boxes in your Skype chat. And, if anyone else wants those conversions to increase progesterone levels, you can do it through nutrition. But magnesium rich foods or your leafy greens, vitamin B6 rich foods, so you've got salmon, if we're looking at vitamin C rich foods, kiwis and bell peppers. Yes, and then your sulfur rich foods, this is in all your cruciferous vegetables and all your alliums or your onion family. So these are the 4 components that we work on to build progesterone. This is from a medicine perspective, a Western medicine perspective. From a Chinese medicine perspective, we work on building the kidney yang. All right, so kidney yang foods are buckwheat and walnuts and warming foods. This is where it's like Renata's talking about the soups and the slow cooked foods, all of these things because it's the luteal phase, it's the warm phase. All right, so we tend to avoid the cold and the raw foods in this phase, but those are the main components for building progesterone in the luteal phase.
Okay, thank you. I'm done.
So ladies, I want to thank you. Thank you for joining me this evening. Thank you. I will be running this again next week, different topic. Always remember that you can reach out and let me know the topics that you're interested in me going over in greater detail. I welcome your questions. It's an opportunity for us to learn and to share. So always unmute yourself, turn your camera on, and I will look forward to seeing you again next week.